who have listened to me over 10, 12 years will know that every time I give talk is about cancer, diagnosis, new treatment. So this time I decided to do something different. And this is because everyone wants to know how to get better when you have a disease. So I wanted to find out how should we improve the living even longer when you have prostate cancer. So this is a topic I'm going to talk about. Next slide. So some of you ask, now I'm in private practice. I have to tell everyone I take every insurance in Singapore. So I'm the main panel. So every insurance in Singapore that you have, there's always a main panel doctor and the extended panel who get a little less factors in terms of getting to see them. But main panel doctors, you get payment from the insurance company. So I take almost all of them. Next one. So today's talk, I'm going to talk about a few things. One is, what's the goal of living longer? Why do you really want to live longer? Second is, find out what are the different ways to live longer. And third is a smile. Okay, so let me go through one by one. We always ask how to live longer. Everybody wish a long time ago emperors want to have this thing called 长生不老, right? 仙丹 or some special medicine pills that once you pop you can live forever. Of course, until now, none of this will happen because there's no special pill or medicine that can. So is it just buy more supplements, eat more supplements, GNC, Yu-Yang-Sen or whatever you want to buy? Or is it just have more money? Because the more money you have, you can buy more things, you can go for expensive places. Does it mean more money you have means you definitely will live longer? How about special food or diet? Every year, you will see different new diet that comes out. Eat this food, don't eat that food. Eat this food, eat a bit more, eat less of that food. Every day people will tell you things. The coffee shop auntie, uncle will tell you different things every day. Anyway, right? So is there something special that really can make you live longer? How about the last one? Oh, those who want to exercise must go to a gym. The more expensive one that you see them like mouse running on a treadmill, does it mean they will live longer? Let's look at the next slide. Okay, there are countries in the world. Have you heard of this thing called the blue zone? This blue zone are countries in the world where people lived more than 100 years old and they're all walking around on that place. And now we know there are 5 areas called blue zones, and these are in Japan, Okinawa, in Greece, in Italy, Costa Rica, and even California. These are the 5 famous zones in the world called blue zone. And the people, when you go there, they all live to 100 years old. Wow, why? Why not Los Angeles, San Francisco? Why London? Why? So there's always a reason. So there is a Netflix video now that they actually live to 100 secrets of blue zone. If you're watching Netflix, they are playing now. Let me just show you the video itself. To introduce, make it bigger.
What's the best tea to drink on a daily basis?
Wine.
I like the way you roll. I have found that most of what people think lead to a long, healthy life is misguided or just plain wrong. What if we could reverse engineer longevity? I spent the last 20 years trying to do just that. Is it okay if Instead of looking for answers in test tubes, I found 5 places around the world called blue zones where people are living to 100 at the highest rates in the world. What is the secret to living a long time?
Community. If you're depressed, you're not going to live very long.
So the steepness for us is very important. Just by walking, you have an additional energy expenditure.
Do we want to be dormant or do we want to serve humanity?
These people live to 100 at the highest rates in the world. And these secrets can help every one of us to get every good year we can get out of this body of ours. That is the promise of blue zones.
Thank you. So if you realize it's being played on Netflix now, and you see Marina Bay Sands, Singapore is the number 6 now. First time in the world that people know that Singapore can have people living longer. And what you find strange or unusual is that all the first 5 are natural. they have natural resources, they have things they grow for tradition. But Singapore is strange because it is actually in one of the programs if you watch. Singapore is called like a engineered blue zone. That means not by natural, but because of programs in the government and Ministry of Health and Community allow us to immediately become older and older because of what the whole government system is doing and community as well. So if you have chance, watch it because you realize there's HDB flat and MPS there, right? Okay, so this is something to think. So yes, there are ways to live longer, and actually we are one of the well-known places in the world that we live longer than many other people. Men can now live to 80 plus, including women.
Women longer. Women live longer.
Yes, women live longer. That's right. So next slide. So what are the different ways we can improve longevity? Okay, next slide please. So very interesting, there are so many studies and so many people who tell you, I know how to live longer. Take this pill, take that blue pill, green pill, this one, supplement, eat the grass, eat the fruit. But we always know we need to find research that really works. Harvard Medical School, you know this is one of the famous medical schools. They started the research in 1938. Who was born at that time? Nobody. They started the research then with 724 participants, and it's still ongoing until today. Have you seen any research that you read that is lasting on 75 years? All they want to know is how to be happy. So this is something, if you want, just look at Harvard study of adult development, what it says. After studying 75 years, now the fourth director of the study is a Professor Robert Waldinger, and he is giving a summary of what happened after people learn about 75 years of history. Longest in-depth study on human life ever. Next one. Only one conclusion. Good relations lead to happiness and health, and you live longer and happy. He looked at every single thing for 75 years, then this is what he found. Okay? Let's play the video, and I start at the middle of the video. When you want, go and watch more of it. I start middle of video, and you can watch until the end.
Buy more.
It's the
The
day.
first is that social connections are really good for us, and that loneliness kills. It turns out that people who are more socially connected to family, to friends, to community, are happier, they're physically healthier, and they live longer than people who are less well connected. And the experience of loneliness turns out to be toxic. People who are more isolated than they want to be from others find that they are less happy, their health declines earlier in midlife, their brain functioning declines sooner, and they live shorter lives than people who are not lonely. And the sad fact is that at any given time, more than 1 in 5 Americans will report that they're lonely. And we know that you can be lonely in a crowd and you can be lonely in a marriage. So the second big lesson that we learned is that it's not just the number of friends you have, and it's not whether or not you're in a committed relationship, but it's the quality of your close relationships that matters. It turns out that living in the midst of conflict is really bad for our health. High conflict marriages, for example, without much affection, turn out to be very bad for our health, perhaps worse than getting divorced. And living in the midst of good, warm relationships is protective. Once we had followed our men all the way into their 80s, we wanted to look back at them at midlife and to see if we could predict who was going to grow into a happy, healthy octogenarian and who wasn't. When we gathered together everything we knew about them at age 50, it wasn't their middle-aged cholesterol levels that predicted how they were going to grow old. It was how satisfied they were in their relationships. The people who were the most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest at age 80. And good, close relationships seem to buffer us from some of the slings and arrows of getting old.
Our most happily partnered men and women reported in their 80s that on the days when they had more physical pain, their moods stayed just as happy. But the people who were in unhappy relationships, on the days when they reported more physical pain, it was magnified by more emotional pain. And the third big lesson that we learn about relationships and our health is that good relationships don't just protect our bodies, they protect our brains. It turns out that being in a securely attached relationship to another person in your 80s is protective. That the people who are in relationships where they really feel they can count on the other person in times of need, those people's memories stay sharper longer. And the people in relationships where they feel they really can't count on the other one, those are the people who experience earlier memory decline. And those good relationships, they don't have to be smooth all the time. Some of our octogenarian couples could bicker with each other day in and day out. But as long as they felt that they could really count on the other when the going got tough, those arguments didn't take a toll on their memories. So, this message that good, close relationships are good for our health and well-being, this is wisdom that's as old as the hills. Why is this so hard to get and so easy to ignore? Well, we're human. What we'd really like is a quick fix, something we can get that'll make our lives good and keep them that way. Relationships are messy and they're complicated, and the hard work of tending to family and friends, it's not sexy or glamorous. It's also lifelong. It never ends. The people in our 75-year study who were the happiest in retirement were the people who had actively worked to replace workmates with new playmates. Just like the millennials in that recent survey, many of our men, when they were starting out as young adults, really believed that fame and wealth and high achievement were what they needed to go after to have a good life. But over and over these 75 years, our study has shown that the people who fared the best were the people who leaned into relationships with family, with friends, with community. So what about you? Let's say you're 25, or you're 40, or you're 60. What might leaning into relationships even look like? Well, the possibilities are practically endless. It might be something as simple as replacing screen time with people time, or livening up a stale relationship by doing something new together, long walks or date nights, or reaching out to that family member who you haven't spoken to in years, because those all too common family feuds take a terrible toll on the people who hold the grudges. I'd like to close with a quote from Mark Twain. More than a century ago, he was looking back on his life, and he wrote this: "There is a time, so brief is life, for bickerings, apologies, heartburnings, callings to account. There is only time for loving, and but an instant, so to speak, for that. The good life is built with good relationships." Thank you.
So interesting, isn't it? So many things, we try 75 years of research just to learn that doctors are not necessary. It's actually your friends, your family. Some of us may be having different relationships. You may not have a spouse anymore. Maybe you are divorced. Your children don't talk to you. Your family members don't talk to each other. But remember, what are some things that you can change? It's not just you, of course, with the other person too. And this is the one that actually protects all of us for our happiness. It's not the injection that some of you may be getting. It's not the medication or robotic surgery or things. It's actually relationships. Doctors are there as part of a healthcare system to help you get better, but they are not everything. Relationships with people around you, it can be just with a neighbor, be nice to a neighbor next door, or people who need help. So think about it. Okay? All of us have struggles in our family, our life, our workplace, right? All of us have. Okay? Whoever don't have, you can put up your hand. I do. Everyone do. But how are you going to make the best of your life? It's something for us to think about. Right? Next slide. One thing I also want to raise, the next topic, is supplements. So the World Cancer Research Fund International has gone through a lot of prevention, because you may have friends, you'll be wondering, did I take something or I forget to take something, that's why I get prostate cancer. Is it something I should have done? You can see whether you can click on this. Does it go? So if you have a chance to look through, it's just a website. If your friends want to find out or you want to know, the World Cancer Research actually said do not use supplement to prevent cancer. So whatever food you take, supplements, you need to know, do not use an oral supplement, just use natural food. Okay, supplements don't really prevent cancer. Whatever herbs or whatever things that's sold outside, that's their recommendation. Okay. Next slide. So let me go more now towards prostate cancer, right? There are many topics I can talk about, but because it's a prostate cancer group, I'll tell you, this is one of the longest study, how to live longer when you have prostate cancer. This is a study based on patients found in US, and there is a database of patients who have prostate cancer that they keep. They also look at the diet, the lifestyle. And this was published in 2021. The summary, how to live longer when you have prostate cancer, is less smoking, less whole milk and high fat dairy products, more physical activities, and up to 1 glass of red wine per day. They look through a lot of food, they look through all the alcohol, different types, they look through different physical activities, and this is summary that come in after looking at all the data up to 2020.
Is it a big glass or a small glass?
You decide.
Nice one. Much
All right, and they did a lot of study and look at fish, different kind of meat. People ask, can I eat the chicken, white chicken, black chicken, egg lah, tomato, vegetables, all supplements, and they are not conclusive. It's just saying that 10 people who study, some say yes, some say no, some say don't know. So it's not conclusive. So what's more conclusive is the first 4. Yes.
Can I have more detail about the red wine? Because my doctor doesn't allow me to take even 1 drop. So I'm actually quite agitated.
Take a photo of this and quote him that this is the study that is reported in 2021. Okay?
So it's a conclusive
for
study.
prostate cancer. But for cardiology, some of them say it works, some it doesn't. For some special internal medicine, say don't take at all. So you ask 5 doctors, they will have 10 opinions. Have you know this, right?
Yeah.
You go and ask 5 doctors, they have 10 opinions.
Maybe
So go to the doctor that agree with you.
We have hang on. Maybe we have a show of hand. Anybody have taken any liquor?
We all
Sure,
do in some way.
Everybody have taken some liquor
So-
at some time.
So this is
if
what they
prostate
study, at least from a prostate cancer point of view. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Next one.
Frightened the
So
hell
there's
out of
another
me.
study in 2023. They actually look at 15,300 men with prostate cancer since 1999 to 2001 in US under this database called Capture. For patients who do not have stage 4 cancer, okay, because you know prostate cancer, there's stage 4 and non-stage 4. Those who have non-stage 4 cancer, this is the recommendation they have so that you can improve the outcome. Number 1, avoid and limit whole milk, red and processed meat, alamak my satay, and saturated fat. Take moderate consumption of wine, avoid smoking, maintain healthy body size, and do regular physical activities. This is looking through since 1999 to 2018. That's almost 20 years of data. Okay, this is their conclusion. Next. Why is it important? Because this was another one is presented in February this year in ASCO. ASCO is one of the important cancer conference in US every year. So their title is Eat More Plant-Based Food. They look through the entire capsule database as well. And then this capsule has a database to look at the diet and lifestyle since 2004. They saw about 2,000 prostate cancer men. They summarized the whole thing. Eat more plant-based food. Because they look through all the diet over 15, 20 years that all the people take. And when you eat more plant-based food, you have almost 52% chance that the cancer will worsen. And 53% chance it will come back again. If your cancer is gone, it will less chance to come back if you eat more plant-based food. This was presented this year. Next slide shows you a summary of what they presented for prostate cancer. This is only for patients with no spread of cancer, that means non-stage 4, only stage 1, 2, and 3 cancers. And the summary is they eat a lot of plant-based food. It lowers the risk of cancer coming back and lower the chance it will become worse. And this is same for anybody who's, no matter how old you are, how much walking you do every week, what kind of grade or stage 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. As long as you eat more plant-based food, you have less chance cancer will come back. So this is a summary that haven't published yet, they only presented this year. Alright? So, very simple. You have seen a summary of how to be happier and live longer by relationship. Second, for prostate cancer, those are the summary that we have for studies for almost 20 years of prostate cancer in US. So, what should we do? I thought something simple to remember is smile. Next one. What is smile? Smile as for self-care. M is making friends, because you must look after yourself first and have friends. When you make friends like this in the society and community, you actually support each other. You can share with things, you're worried, especially those of you who are newly diagnosed, you're worried, how can I go through this? Why does it happen? But many people can be your friends over here. Next. This is something not easy, but having inner peace to know yourself, that things will be alright. There are people who will be there to help you. Others. Next. Love others. Help others. The more you help other people, including those of you who has been here around for a longer time, you actually help the newcomers and other people as well. And even I can say you can help your neighbors, your friends, your family members. Next. Of course, exercise. I promote strongly the exercise group walking in Botanic Garden every Friday. Next. So be happy. So what if you have prostate cancer? So what if you have cancer? If you have smile, you make peace, and you have strong relationship, remember that's the key. Relationships will bring you even further, make you happy and joyous. You can do it with friends, family, other people, and this is a community where you can be with to have stronger relationship. Next one. So with that, I actually want to just show you what I've done. Once I went to private practice, I have decided to accumulate 10, 15 years of things in support group into a program. So I'm running a program, wellness retreat in Chiang Mai. If you have QR code, sometimes if you scan it, there's usually a brochure, you can send it to your friends if you need to. If not, you can go to a website called Dr. Hughes, because it's run by doctors, traditional TCM doctors, and also wellness expert in Chiang Mai. Next one. Of course, some of you already know this. I also run a website because there are so many fake news. I ask doctors to help me write articles on healthcare updates. Every week there are new things, so if you sign on, and then they will send to you. And you can also get second opinion by specialists. And for this, there are more social media, Facebook, WhatsApp. You know, now there's a channel where you can be it's something very new in Singapore. WhatsApp channel, if you subscribe regularly, there will be new updates through the WhatsApp channel. Telegram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So the same, there's a brochure where you can actually send to your friends if you need to. Next one. some of you may want to talk, listen to prostate cancer things. For me, for prostate cancer, you can watch TV and radio. So if it's a Mandarin, just type my Chinese name, then it will come out, English name will come out. Then you can find out more. Okay, next. Okay, that's all for my talk today. And so I give you a summary of why we want to live longer, the different ways to have longevity, including for prostate cancer, the long-term 15-20-year data shows that you should eat healthier, exercise, and up to 1 big glass of red wine.
I don't drink.
Yes. So, any questions you have? Thank you very much. Yes.
A couple of questions. When we get older, absorbing things in the stomach slows down for some of us. So, for example, I take B12 supplements to get my B12 up, and I started taking iron tablets, gluconate, because my iron deficiency is quite low. I don't class those as supplements in the context that you do. Is there any natural way to get rid of B12 and iron tablets?
Natural food is always the best. What supplement do is actually it supplement things you cannot take naturally. If you get it from natural food, there's actually no need to have supplements, provided you can eat enough of the food and you have enough nutrition for it. If there's some kind of food you cannot eat, for example, some pure vegetarian can only eat certain things. There are some food that cannot eat, so you need supplements for that. Remember, supplement means to add to what you are normally not able to take. That's called supplement, right? But if you can take everything that's natural, why not? But there's no harm in taking if you really feel like, because there are not many studies to prove that once you take a certain supplement, it's good or bad for you. But I always say, my general advice is take a natural food as much as possible. But if there are some food group that you cannot take, then supplement will help. Okay, yes?
I come across this called intermittent fasting that can actually live longer by Dr. I think it's David Sinclair. It's always in the, can say actually available on the YouTube. What's your comments on that?
I see new YouTube every day. You can decide, but then all we know is that after 75 years, none of this works. Yeah. Everyone can say anything they want. Not saying they are wrong, they can be right in some way, but if you want a general consensus, is today's diet better, last time got low cholesterol, or certain diet Atkins, which one is better? Everyone will say different things every year, right? So the simplest thing I know is coffee. 10 years ago, you cannot drink coffee. After that, they say drink 1 cup a day. After that, say drink as much as you can. Now say don't drink much anymore. It's like cholesterol. So last time say you must have low fat diet, no fat. After that you say, oh actually the brain cells need fat, no fat cannot work. So you need more fat. After that you say you actually need more fatty so that food to have a natural cell to work. So now change to sugar. Don't eat, yeah. So every few years will change. Do you know why it's called research? Do you know what is research?
Search cannot find.
Search and search again. So that's called research. Okay. So whether the particular diet, if you enjoy it helps you, I don't see any harm. But from 75 years of study, they show that it's your relationship. Yes.
What about weight? Does weight play a part in it?
For prostate cancer, interestingly, I didn't go into the controversy for prostate cancer research. There are many cancers, but for prostate cancer research, it seems that when you are maintaining a healthy weight, it's very good for patients with no stage 4 cancer. But those with stage 4 cancer, in some of the research, being fat is very good. The fatter you are, obesity is good. So, and for stage 4 prostate cancer, we don't know why, but it's just studies that some people have looked at. So it's still controversial. So whether being fat is good, I think generally maintaining a healthy weight is the best. Okay, but But there's this some studies they are looking at for stage 4 prostate cancer. Doesn't mean once you get stage 4 you must quickly try to become obese, right? It's just that this is what they find. But maintaining a healthy weight is always better. Yes.
I noticed in the research study, milk product came up twice. Does it include fresh milk? Fresh milk that we drink every day.
So they only say is the whole milk. Whole milk.
Meaning?
Whole milk, the full whole milk, yeah. In their research study, they look at full, whole milk, whether it's fat-free and all that. So the whole milk tend to have not so good.
Including fresh milk.
Not so good. I'm not sure whether they put fresh milk 1 week old, 2 week old. I don't know whether they put it.
So does that include?
It's still milk. It's still whole milk.
Because some of us actually drink milk every day with their breakfast. 1 cup, 1 glass.
So I can only show you what they study after 20 years. Avoid or limit, that's what they suggest.
But there's this thing 0% fresh milk.
I think they look at whole milk.
Sorry?
They study whole milk and say that better to avoid.
So that includes low fat milk.
I think they look at whole milk because in the study they may not be able to divide into fresh or whatever type, only percent and all that.
Anyway,
So this is a general concept for you to know.
the soy milk.
Next question. Yes.
There are a lot of studies, a lot of research, and sometimes there are contradictory messages.
Yes.
So I came across one conclusion is that each of us, our bodies are different. And even all this research are generalizing, out of a statistics of so many people, this is the conclusion. So we may be the outlier, we may be different from the overall. So the overall study or conclusion is that whatever food we eat, the most important thing is we look at the indicator. We take our blood test and look at all cholesterol, blood count, da. As long as everything is normal, we can eat anything we like. That's the conclusion.
So you have thousands and thousands of research every day that contradict
Exactly.
each other.
So
So that's why you go to 5 doctors, they have 10 opinion. So it depends on that day which one I read, then I say which one. Yeah. Tomorrow I may read something else, I'll tell something else.
So the answer is to look at our own blood count, all the data.
If you are the expert in this area, you can do it, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, but this is overall, that's what people have studied. And these people look at 15,000 men. If you can find that data, then that is something, so it depends on whether you trust the uncle downstairs coffee shop because he says so, or whether we look at 15,300 men.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So,
what I'm saying is that I look at my blood count result every 3 months.
So
and
I can only present to you what people have studied, yeah. But each of you have your own decision, yeah, and decide what you prefer to understand and read. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
What's the latest? Because I'm new here, right? Because now I receive, they say that's the latest sort of drugs that I'm taking. But when you say latest, what does it mean?
Every year there are new research come out for every disease, so they'll have to tell you what you have, what's your stage of cancer, what's the latest that's available in Singapore, because not all medicine that's available in say US or Europe may be in Singapore. So the doctor can tell you based on whatever research they read, but they must know what is available in Singapore to be able to give you. So the doctors can recommend more.
What you're trying to say, in other countries they are more advanced.
Every country will have different medicine they allow to come into the country. But research we can read on internet for entire world. So usually doctors will only give you your recommendation part based on what you have and what we have available in Singapore.
And what happens if you, let's say Singapore do not have, in US they do have. So
decide to fly tomorrow, sure, definitely. Yeah. You can fly anywhere in the world, definitely. But research is to teach everyone in the world, but whether it applies to your particular country, the doctors in the country has to make a decision.
The drugs are generally approved in Singapore maybe 6 to 12 months after the US.
Usually, but all depends on whether the drug company or want to bring it in Singapore. Some of them may not want to, some of them may want to. So it all depends on many other factors. Any other questions? Okay, if not, go to the next. Dim the lights a little. Okay, thank you, and God bless. If you need to contact me, I show you where to find me. I'm normally in Farrer Park Hospital, so you can contact me if you need to. If not, EJ, Mike, some of them will have my phone number. Okay, so you can email me if you have any questions. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we thank Dr. Chong for his time today, and for now, can I have
Oh.
send to the
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this one's nice.
Yeah, it's a keychain, crochet keychain done by our volunteers.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Chong
you.
for the
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So before that, I would like to gather your feedback. Could you just help me to scan your QR code, the QR code?
Still got attendance.
Just sound like you are good. Too
Huh?
far, too far.
Oh, no problem. Can leave on. Which one?
Leave the
Oh,
screen on.
leave my this one. Wait.
For the feedback form will be this, then I will leave Dr. Chong's contact on the screen with me.
How do I get this?
Okay.
I don't know. How do I do it?